I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test part 659 while doing ECU tension training. The ECU tension is here. And if you participate in the ECU tension training in the second half of the video, that is at your own risk. Now we're trying to make a video about the Commonwealth countries, the 47, we're learning them all. I looked up where Rwanda is, and now let's try to look if we find Rwanda on that world map. It is close to that lake. Here's a lake, and there's actually not Rwanda on it. There's an R dot, and that means Rwanda. We're going to the Africa map. The lake is called Victoria, and that is our country. And there is Rwanda.
So that thing is Africa, and there's a big lake, the Lake Victoria, and Rwanda is there. There's a certain Rwanda.
Okay, Rwanda. We're having this in Africa. The Gambia, Bissau also. I think also the Gambia and Bissau, Guyana, and Ghana, and Cameroon, and Gabon, and Nigeria, and Namibia also. Namibia and Botswana, and Lesotho, and Eswatini, and Mozambique. And also could we say Mauritius, the islands, and the other islands, the other ones, no. And then now also Kenya, did we already have Kenya, and Rwanda, next to the Lake Victoria. Okay, let's look what it was. Nauru, the islands even more east of Madagascar, in the Indian Ocean. Almost close to the Maldives, south of India, which is also, like Pakistan, Bangladesh, part of the Commonwealth. And which country was it? I'm not sure. Let's look at it in a moment. Let's try to find Sierra Leone. So it's all we're doing now. We're learning the countries and trying to find them. Sierra Leone now. Belize. Belize is south of Mexico. But the country I wasn't sure about was Bissau. No, Bissau is not listed here. Bissau not. But Sierra Leone. Let's try to find Sierra Leone. Okay, we can find it. Let's look at the Africa map. Okay, we're going into the internet and looking if we find just where Sierra Leone is. Nothing else, just where it is. It is at the west of Africa. There it is. I'm having trouble reading the names of the countries and the city names. They are written almost on the same type. It looks completely... No, here are countries like Senegal differently printed. They are bigger printed. They are not in the same typography printed. That's Sierra Leone there.
That's Liberia. There's Sierra Leone. That part there of Africa. That's South Africa. There's Sierra Leone. I don't know.
Okay, Sierra Leone. We're having now in Africa the Gambia and Guyana, Sierra Leone and Ghana, and Nigeria and Cameroon and Gabon, and Namibia, Botswana, and Eswatini, and Lesotho, Mozambique, and Rwanda, and Mauritius, and Nauru. Are we counting with it? But I don't think Nauru is part of Africa, on the continent, on the tectonic continent. And Rwanda and Kenya. And now we're having New Sierra Leone. Okay, the next one. Singapore and Solomon Islands. I don't think we find the Solomon Islands. Singapore. Can we find Singapore on the world map? No, we can't find Singapore. We found it. At least with Singapore written. I'm going to look if we have an Asia map.
Where's Singapore written? So here's Malaysia, that is part of Commonwealth, and also Brunei. Indonesia not, but Papua New Guinea is part of Commonwealth. And where's Singapore written? So it must be somewhere there.
Singapore, look, let's look if we have an Asia map. Oceania? No, Singapore's not on that. Indonesia. We find the Solomon Islands. Directly. East and South Asia. Sumatra, Kuala Lumpur, and where's Singapore? Borneo, Indonesia. But we can't find Singapore. Where's Singapore? I don't really know where Singapore is, where the borders are, but
Where's Singapore written? But we're no closer. So that thing here is Thailand. There's Cambodia, there's Vietnam, and Singapore's there. Here's the big part Indonesia, and there Malaysia. There's Brunei, and there's Singapore. Okay, the big one here is Russia, and that is Mongolia. Then it's here China. And there's Myanmar, there's India. And here's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, and there is Singapore. Here's Australia, down there. And there's Singapore.
okay, Singapore. Down there. Basically west of Indonesia. At the western part of where Indonesia is, where's Singapore? Okay, the next one. Singapore is part of the Commonwealth. Where's the next one? Solomon Islands. There we are. Good to find. Again, in Oceania.
There's Australia and there are Solomon Islands. We're having now Australia, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand. The Solomon Islands, Kiribati and Fiji, and also, one's here, Samoa.
As part of the Commonwealth. So a lot. The alternate would be hard. Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and then also in South Pacific, Brunei and Singapore. And then the Fiji, Kiribati, the Solomon Islands, and Samoa. Okay, in the Indian Ocean we have Sri Lanka. No, that's there. It is there, but Indian Ocean we're having there India and Bangladesh and India and Bangladesh and Pakistan. In the Mediterranean Sea we're having Malta and Cyprus. In the Caribbean we're having the Bahamas, and in the West Indies we're having Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada and Jamaica and Dominican Republic and Belize. In Australia, Oceania, did I just? And in Africa we're having the Gambia and Guyana and Sierra Leone and what's one other one? Guyana and Cameroon and Nigeria and Namibia and Botswana and Mozambique, Mauritius, the Maldives and the Seychelles, and then also Rwanda is up there, and Malawi didn't mention it for quite some time. Malawi and Eswatini and Lesotho and Ethiopia and Kenya. We're going to do now the ECU 10 training. If you participate in the ECU 10 training, that's the honors. If you're here to try to find the other 10, then you can go directly to the next video. Now, first exercise, if you participate in the honors, first exercise we're having the arms next to us, hands onto fists, and to bring them down the flat gate. And again up. And again down, holding that for 1 to 2 seconds. And again up. And again down. Singapore did it dangerous. Yes, I did. And next exercise, the counterfeit bunny check. Just the fists up now. and down. Now we're having 3 rules. The first rule is that we are stopping immediately as soon as there's pain. The second rule is that we're going only as fast as we can go with a little bit of effort, again up. And the third rule is that we're not overdoing it. So last time down. And up. Now I'm going to use for the next exercise a tennis racket. A tennis racket is light, just around 300 grams, but it has a long lever. So whatever dumbbell you're big, or make also nothing, use it in accordance of our 3 rules. The mannequin need have the arm in, and take it at the lower arm, and go slowly to one side over, and slowly back to the other side. So our 3 rules: stop immediately as soon as there's pain, go only as fast as you can go with a little bit of effort, and don't overdo it. We just want to strengthen, not to exhaust. We're going to start in the northwest to this point with Canada. Yeah, this is Canada. And what was the last thing? And then the other. Outside. Canada, and then we're having Belize, south of Mexico. Then the Bahamas, south of Florida, and then also in the Caribbean, Jamaica and the Dominican Republic, and in the West, in the West Indies we're having Antigua and Barbuda. That is one country. Antigua and Barbuda are 2 islands. Antigua and Barbuda, and then the south is one of the West Indies, Grenada. Nothing in South America so far. And then we're having in the Mediterranean Sea, Malta, south of Sicily, and Cyprus, close to Turkey. And the next exercise, now with a long arm out and to the side arm. Then we're having in Africa, the Gambia and Guyana, Sierra Leone, that's number 1, Cameroon and Nigeria and Botswana and just to the outside. There was one at the side. Maybe it was Namibia. Right? Namibia, then we're having Lesotho, the one in the middle, Eswatini, if it were north, or Swaziland. Then we're having also Mozambique at the east coast, last time in. Now with the little arm to the outside. Mozambique, and then also the islands up there, Mauritius, east of Madagascar, and then even further north, Nauru. But we're having still in Africa then at the Lake Victoria, Rwanda, and probably also at the Lake Victoria, Kenya, and one else. See what I said? And again. And then we're having in South Asia, Brunei, that's in the middle of Malaysia, Malaysia itself, Singapore at the west of Indonesia, and and then Australia and New Zealand, and then the Fiji Islands there, Kiribati, Samoa, there were the Seychelles, we forgot the Maldives, south of India, and India itself, and Pakistan and Bangladesh, and Samoa and the Seychelles, I think they were there, and Kiribati. There was one island that we mentioned, the Salmon Island. Were we the Salmon Island? Or do we add snow for longer? These are the ones we have so far. And next exercise, take the racket from the top, lift up, go once over, back in and down. Now power of hand upwards, up, over, and again back and down. Now on the other side, leg from the top, once up, over, back in and down. Now with the palm facing upwards, up and over, back in and down. Next exercise, you can use a towel or a t-shirt, press onto it and go with the wrist up, hold it, go down, hold it, go up, hold it, and down, hold it, and again up, hold it. With the other hand, pressing up and hold it, down and hold it, up and hold it, down and hold it. And the last time, up and hold back. And just press with full force onto it. And on the other side, just press with full force. I thank you very much, and releasing until next time.